Got the phone, boy.
I'm off the phone. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome to We the Blueprint. I am your host, Ant, and my co-host is
Joel,
Joel.
what up?
What up, though?
And then we got Junior over here, back again for the second time. What up, Junior?
Second time around.
Junior Anderson, travel consultant, or
Easy
should I
for
say
you.
agent?
Both.
Agent and consultant.
Easy,
Okay.
easy for you to travel. Let me make it easy for you.
Okay. So what were we just talking about? Why off the cuff? Why does Spirit get such a bad rap?
They're an affordable airline. They're a value airline, so you get what you pay for. So less employees per customer, less people handling baggage claim, more people on the flight because they fit more people on the flight. They have more rows, so they reduce the space in between seats. No first class,
Right.
so
And you pay for bags too, right?
pay for bags. So they nickel and dime you for everything just to keep your price. But I mean, you can fly to Cancun for $99 sometimes.
Right.
Which way? Just
I flew one time. I didn't think it was that bad.
I did too one time.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I flew twice.
It was tight, but it was all right.
You only 5. How tall are you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
5.
5 what?
5'10".
5'10".
5'9".
I'm 5'7", so it's not as bad.
5'6".
For me.
I'm 6'3".
Yeah. So,
6'1".
My knees was up there.
Yeah.
My knees was.
But actually, if you're flying direct, they have actually a good on-time record. They have some flight cancellations, but you have other airlines that are really showing they're behind right now
Yeah.
because of the supply and demand issue.
Right.
I don't think a lot of people thought that travel was going to bounce back this quickly after COVID.
Yeah.
Most people were planning on maybe traveling next year at the earliest, but we're breaking TSA records right now.
Okay. So, are the airlines and the hotels ready to accommodate people since it's come quicker than what was anticipated?
Nah, because you think about it. A lot of corporations, institutions, like airlines and TSA, they laid a lot of people off. Some corporation gave folks from the top positions to the bottom positions severance packages. Then some people quit or I wouldn't say quit, but that unemployment
Right.
with that extra.
900. That was it.
So they're having a hard time servicing their clientele based off of the fact they don't have enough people working.
Okay.
And then to onboard new people, the training, it takes some time to train people. So no, they're not ready for this influx.
Right.
But most people understand that, though. I think when you're traveling and you go to a hotel, the club is not going to be open. The hours are going to be a little bit different, and the level of service is going to be a little bit different. Longer waits, at restaurants and these hotels. But a lot of the hotels were only operating or allowed to operate at 50 to 60% capacity. Anyway, so
Yeah.
So do you work with Airbnb or VRBO? Are you doing?
Not really. I refer clients to that because the great thing about Airbnb is client pretty much direct to consumer direct to the supplier or the homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like Uber. There's no middleman. So if someone's looking for a home to rent, I can do it as far as villas, but Airbnb takes me out of the equation.
Right.
So with Delta, I know Delta have something with Airbnb and Uber, I believe.
They have strategic partnerships.
It's Lyft, not Uber, right?
It's Lyft.
It's Lyft with Delta. Lyft and Airbnb.
But I think Lyft is with Southwest.
Okay.
I'm not sure who So all it is that they've made it more convenient for folks to be able to get a ride, or if they're looking for a quick accommodations outside of a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
it's really just a click of the button. Or it's just a strategic partnership. To help
As a
folks.
third party,
Mhm.
basically, and go to their website and just stay on Delta.
Because Delta Vacations allows you to book hotel, car rental,
Right.
airlines, excursions,
Yeah.
all through their websites.
Right.
Now, I was telling Joe that the need for a travel advisor, travel consultant, is even more now because a lot of folks need to know the different protocols, the COVID protocols, the refund policies,
Right.
and there's a plethora of accommodations. I think a lot of times too, folks don't really understand the destination. Like what's the difference between going to Cancun versus going to Cabo or Puerto Vallarta? They're all in Mexico, but they all have a different vibe and atmosphere and scenery.
Right.
And within the country, the culture is different too. So some places are great for couples or singles. Some places are more liberal. Some places are more romantic. So, having someone to kind of guide you through, it's one thing to choose an Airbnb, but do you actually know how far it is from attractions? Do you really know the destination? So,
Right.
travel consultants have been in heavy demand.
Right. So is it a misconception that, if I do it myself and I don't get a travel agent, that I can book it cheaper?
Yeah, because I don't charge fees to book. Actually, the resorts, the hotel chains, they pretty much compensate me. Airlines, there's no margin,
Right.
so I don't get paid from airlines, and if I do, it's like less than 2 to 3%.
Right.
As far as commissions. But some of my clients, they ask for extra services, and if they're asking for extra services or personal planning, then yeah, sometimes there is a small fee. But for the most part, what you're getting online would be the same thing you get with me. But with me, I have direct contacts with the hotel, so I can request different rooms or tell you the different types of rooms that are there. So,
Right.
but it doesn't cost you anything extra.
Right.
To
Certain
book with
things you are cheaper at too, though. For instance, when you booked my last trip, doing 2 different places, it's cheaper to go with you than going directly through the Delta.
Yeah, because I'm able to bundle everything together.
Right.
It's cheaper as well as convenient. So the word cheaper, I think everybody wants a good value, but cheap isn't all. We were just talking about spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cheap isn't always best. Cheap is what it is. Cheap. It's inexpensive, but then you miss out on
I
certain
don't know.
services.
From 5,200 to what I paid 28 or 32, whatever it was. That's cheaper.
Yeah, well, if someone has a budget, I try to maximize their budget
Right.
as well, because sometimes you can get an inexpensive flight, but you're not getting into the destination till 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Versus paying $80 more. I could point that out to you, but hey, you're going to get there at 11. You're going to have a whole day.
Yeah.
Or you might say, well, okay, that's fine, but then your return flight leaves that destination at 8 a.m. So a lot of folks don't think about the fact you got to be at the airport, international terminal, 3 hours before. So you'll have to be at the airport at 5. If your hotel is 30 minutes away, they're going to pick you up pretty much at 4 a.m.
Right.
So you're not going to have time for breakfast.
Yeah.
So thinking those things through and knowing the steps, I mean, that's what, when you say cheaper, I think a lot of folks get cheaper. They get what they pay for.
Yeah.
If you put it in that term.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, you save me some money.
Oh, no, I'm going
It
to
was
do
the
that.
same
That's a lot.
thing. Save me.
Some folks
At
will book.
least-
Some folks will book trips during the wrong time of the year.
But also, it's a difference between veteran travelers and people who just starting off.
Big time. Big time.
For me, I done booked myself, and I done had you book some stuff for me too. So for me, I kind of know little
Yeah,
ins and outs anyway.
Yeah, I gotta
So-
come. I gotta come correct when you come. When you
Right.
come there. And
Yeah.
he wants his Sky Miles.
Yep.
And we had worked out where he actually got some bonus Sky Miles.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it depends on when you book too, because a lot of times people will want to book during the holiday,
Yeah.
and I'm able to point out to them, hey,
That's something I ain't think about, Sky Miles.
Yeah, you got to look at I look up promo codes, what time of year. I'm looking at all of this before I even think about what I'm. That's why when I be talking about traveling, I be looking up a bunch of stuff before I travel to
Right.
make sure I get in this particular time.
I wouldn't say Ant is an anomaly because a lot of people do book their own travel, but what's different about clients like Anthony is that when they've traveled before, they have a better understanding of, the Ant knows that flights are going to be more expensive on a Friday or come back on a Sunday. So he'll look at certain dates, like leave
Right.
on a Tuesday. He's well versed, and that's why I like.
Typically, is it cheaper to go during the week as
Yeah,
opposed to weekend?
yeah.
Yeah.
Weekends are more expensive. Sometimes too, the hotel charges more for the weekend.
They do.
Because it's supply and demand.
Right.
So they know that folks got to get back to work.
Right.
And a lot of times, especially if you're traveling with family, kids are out of school,
Right.
3-day holidays. So
Yeah.
those are the more expensive time to book. Hotels tend to have more vacancy, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Right. But what I appreciate was because a lot of the places you actually been, and then you can tell me, okay, because in my mind it's just a simple question, and you would tell me, X, Y, Z. But then once you break it all down,
Mhm.
an hour later, I got it.
Well, see, that's the fun part. Sometimes it can be tedious, but educating the customer. That's why when you say travel consultant versus travel agent,
Yeah,
ticket
yeah.
agent, order taker.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Because you'll be like, okay, well, you can do this spot, but this spot is family. If this spot, you can go up here, get butt booty naked, you good. I mean, it just depends. You like the adult scene, you like the kids scene, you like a combination of both.
Yeah, or you're a beach bum. You like
Right. See,
swimming
if I was doing it
pools.
myself, like Nancy, I'd just be looking at the price, and I wouldn't even.
See, I don't have my experience. Remember the first one I ever booked out the country, it was a family resort, so never again.
Right.
Unless I got a family with me.
Right.
So I know what I want.
He don't like Pampers in the swimming pool.
Nah,
Yeah,
I wanna
yeah,
be. I'm a grown man. I don't want to be around no children.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, for you too, what's important, like the culinary experience, food.
That too.
Yeah.
A lot of folks.
Food.
Yeah, a lot of folks will book somewhere and the food is horrible.
Right.
Or
But
they
normally
or,
that be the cheap resort, so you get what you pay for.
or some folks are cool with the food not being that great because they plan on going outside the resort, but you are hour and a half away from
Right.
where all the main food is, and then
Yeah.
if you don't eat meat, you want to make sure you're someplace that has some vegetarian or vegan options. So one thing for like my wife, believe it or not, thread counts are important for her.
I never
Sheets.
thought about three.
I mean, she wants to sleep comfortably,
Yeah.
as well as towels. Some
Yeah.
hotels will have colored towels instead of white towels. Yeah, they'll have. I've been to a couple of resorts where the towels are beige or blue
Right.
because they get more usage out of it.
Mhm.
So some folks, that's big for them.
Yeah.
Some hotels don't have room service. You might want to have breakfast or dinner in your room. Some hotels might have room service, but they charge for it, or it's not 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I never thought about
Yeah.
it. I didn't
course
think
you
about
have.
it until I experienced it. And I think I was in the States, though. In States, I forgot what it was. Is it the Heavenly Bed or something like that? It was like a specific name for that type bed.
Oh
bro.
yeah, dream bed,
Man,
Yeah.
you can tell the difference.
pillow tops.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful in that bed.
well,
Man.
Yeah, some hotels you don't even want to pull back the sheet to see that mattress.
Nah.
Mattress.
No, it's
couple
like
years
right
old.
across here. You don't want to do that. Like, I'm gonna stand in the corner. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, and then cleanliness, especially now post COVID,
Right.
folks aren't just thinking about bed bugs; they're actually thinking about as far as germs.
Yeah.
And, hotels, airlines have all taken a step back, and they now offer that as a selling point.
Right.
That their rooms are not only clean but disinfected. Their elevators. You know, sometimes you get in an elevator, and this. If you're going into a Ritz-Carlton or a top 5-star resort here in the United States, most of the time the elevators are clean, the bronze is kept clean. But now, even the Holiday Inn is doing a great job of making sure that their hotels are clean. Because if not, clients,
Right.
people will stop purchasing their product.
Yeah. So you do domestic too, right?
Domestic trips are on the rise. Domestic
I
trips
was
are on
going
the
to
rise.
ask you about that.
So what's popular right now,
Right.
domestic wise?
Everybody and their mamas in Miami.
Miami's the spot.
Miami, Vegas is very popular, but there's some destinations that maybe weren't as popular before, like Houston. It's popular. Orlando's always been
Right.
a popular destination, but now Tampa,
Yeah, Clearwater, Tampa area.
Clearwater. The west side of Florida, like Destin, has always been popular, but now you go down to Siesta Keys.
Mhm.
People are finding different pockets now because they're also willing to drive because COVID kind of forced them. The Gulf, like the Mississippi coast,
Right.
Alabama coast, Virginia as well, and then South Carolina.
Okay.
Myrtle Beach is back on, become a popular destination because another thing that COVID, passports are now become a hot commodity
Mhm.
because it's taking you anywhere from 10 to 12 weeks to get a passport. So a lot of folks weren't thinking about, get my passport, I'll get my passport, I'll get. Now, in order for you to travel internationally, I mean, for the past over 15 years. At one point, I remember I used to be able to go to Jamaica with my birth certificate when I
Right.
was younger. But only way you can go to a tropical destination without a passport is if you're going to a U.S. territory. So those actually are domestic trips that have become very popular. Puerto Rico has become very popular. Hawaii's now open back up, but
U.S. Virgin Islands.
U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas has become popular.
And you get all of those with no passport.
No passport, driver's license, yeah.
Okay.
St. Thomas? You
Yeah,
said?
St. Thomas driver's license.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a U.S. province, so some folks have been, more interested in, Key West and, tropical locations. But you can't go to Bahamas without a passport.
Right.
So folks have been, trying to book tropical locations, and then that's prompt them to get a passport because they realize that, and then a lot of these U.S. territories, they don't have all-inclusive because a lot of things are different. Labor laws are different. Food costs are different. So St. Thomas, I mean, I think there's one in St. Thomas. Puerto Rico, there might be two. And I don't really call them all-inclusive. They include breakfast. They include, a couple of meals.
Oh, okay.
So what about the cruise lines? They back?
Cruises are on their way back. They had a test cruise on Royal Caribbean last week. But July, Florida made a good point. The state of Florida said that the CDC, although it's a government agency, is not the government, so they can't tell them not to cruise.
Right.
And cruise lines are like, yeah, y'all can't tell us to cruise. We're ready to cruise. We're ready to take that chance. But they're being smart about it. They want most cruise lines are leaning towards all passengers and all employees being vaccinated. There's a couple of them that are saying that you don't have to be vaccinated, but you're going to have to be tested before the cruise, 3 days before, tested on the cruise the day of, tested in the middle of your cruise, and tested at the end of your cruise, and it's going to cost you $180.
Okay.
So in a way, they're saying too, they're basically encouraging people to get vaccinated.
Right.
So there actually was a cruise that was going out. Royal Caribbean had to delay their cruise because they had, I think it was 9 crew members tested positive before the ship even left. So
as of right now, 2 people, that's adding an extra $360 onto your trip.
correct, unless you're vaccinated.
Right.
And if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask in general areas. But the issue really is, how do you prove that you're vaccinated? I have my vaccine card, but there's no real digital system to prove
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
So some folks could, they could be saying they're vaccinated and,
Yeah.
they got
Because I haven't seen the card, but I heard it looks like something you
yeah, it looks,
can make it home.
So I went to there's a couple of websites you can go to, and you can take a picture of your card, and it has your lot number of the vaccine on it, and
Oh, okay.
they'll
Okay.
accept that. Europe is a little bit ahead of us in creating a digital vaccine network, and that work with an app.
Okay.
So vaccine passports will probably be something in the future. And COVID is, we're at this stage. I wouldn't say it's over, because they keep coming out with different strands. So
Yeah.
what happens?
Strain right now.
Yeah, so what happens next?
Right.
What happens next? People are going to have to either get their vaccines updated. So that's a whole, not, another rabbit hole, but cruises are back. I'm actually cruising with a new cruise line called Virgin Voyages. We're cruising on the end of September 26th from Miami. Richard Branson.
Right. Yeah.
He started a cruise line that's adult only, which is great. No kids.
But you got to have vaccine.
Yes, you're gonna have to be vaccinated to cruise. On his cruise line, he decided that's what he wants to. I mean, that can change, but as of right now,
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure it will change on down the line.
Yeah.
So how will that one, as far as like tier of pricing, where does Virgin, where are they in the mix?
real compatible, because a lot of times, as you know, when you cruise, the price you think you're paying, you got taxes, port charges, gratuity.
Right. Yeah.
Well, with Virgin, $1,200 for 5 nights per person with 2 people in a cabin, but that includes taxes, port charges, internet,
Okay.
all your food. You pay for alcoholic beverages, but your other beverages are included.
Right.
And alcoholic beverages are priced, reasonably. $5, $8, $10.
Yeah.
$8 for a glass of wine. So we're excited.
How the food's supposed to be?
So that's what they've changed, and they're leading in that realm of no more buffets. So all the restaurants you go in, you'll be served. There's several different restaurants on the ship. Tons of vegan options. It's very, I guess you'd say, millennial friendly.
Okay.
He has a private island in the Bimini Islands. That's one of the stops. So you stop there and you stay there until midnight. They have a bonfire.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a real. I mean, he's a cool dude. So he's brought his coolness, and
To the
he's a
airlines.
big.
I mean, to the cruise lines.
Yeah, he has Virgin Hotels. So we're leaving from Miami. They have what's called a Bright Line. It's a rail that leaves from West Palm Beach and takes you to Miami, and it's owned by Virgin. So you get on. They have alcoholic beverages. It takes you right down to downtown Miami, and then they have a shuttle. You can stay at the hotel, or you can shuttle over to the.
How many ports are they going to leave from?
Well, right now they have in the United States just Miami,
Okay.
but they leave. They also have I'm leaving on the Scarlet Lady. They have another ship that leaves from Barcelona that's doing Mediterranean, but there's 2 other ships that are going to be released next year, and I think he's planning on doing 2 ships a year.
Okay.
And they're modern, they're chic.
Yeah.
And then we leave from Miami. They have their own terminal too at Miami. It's
Okay.
real, and they're building it as we speak.
Yeah.
And they're finishing up, and it's real chic. It's
Yeah, I have to look into that.
Yeah. What all stops you going?
From Miami to the one we're doing in September, Miami to Costa Maya, Mexico, which is and they also have one that goes to Cozumel, but basically the east coast of Mexico, and then Bimini Islands back to Miami.
Okay.
7 days.
5 days.
5 days. Okay.
And then I'm doing another Virgin cruise for Thanksgiving Friday, and that one goes from Miami to Puerto Plata on Dominican Republic, Bimini Islands back to Miami. So yeah, cruising, we excited. I'm a big cruise fan, and I like going and testing and tasting the island.
Right.
Folks are like, it's full of germs and
What's supposed to be on the
cruise
cruise ships?
ships, yeah.
Okay.
Norwegian, and a lot of them made some changes to the air filtration system. I mean, they're filtering the air on these ships now are cleaner than the air that we're pretty much breathing outside. So they're doing a good job of taking precautions. But
Is the cruise ship nasty or is the people nasty?
it's just the fact that you and folks are sharing closer quarters and touch, with the buffets and the doorknobs. But now, like a lot of cruise lines already where you go up to a door, you don't touch a door, they open by themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and then rails and kids digging their nose.
Right.
I saw people nasty on cruise.
Yeah, but the ship too, just like some restaurants that are open 24 hours, because when these cruise ships come in, they're going out same day. Can you really clean anything properly in one day?
No.
No,
Not for real.
not the way you need to clean it.
Right.
You know, so because this is a newer cruise line, a newer cruise ship, we definitely
We cool with it.
we cool with it. But you have to take care. You got to use good
You gotta
hygiene.
use your common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So besides the southeast on domestic traveling, where else people going? Southeast and Vegas.
so folks have been headed to the mountains, man. Montana.
Really?
Yeah, Montana, Oregon, Portland area, Seattle, Washington. Alaska is, pretty much back open for travel. Cruises are going to start going back to Alaska as well. So, I mean, the air is cleaner, less pollution in the air. So folks are really getting out and loving nature. Canada and the United States are talking about opening the Canadian border
Okay.
within the next few months.
So where's the hot spot in Canada?
Toronto.
Toronto.
yeah.
Okay.
Montreal is all right, but Toronto is the hot spot.
Yeah.
That's
So
what,
we still can't go, right?
not right now, but I mean the talks are.
Yeah, it'd be by cold.
But Canada wants vaccinated folks coming. Canada's been real. They were the conservative ones.
Yeah.
They had shut their airports down.
Yeah.
And folks weren't able to leave Canada for quite some time. So, but California, I went out to Vegas in November and drove out to Cali, and California is another beautiful place that people want to hit. But Utah, there's some places like you said out west that are just that was my first time driving from Vegas to California to LA, and it
That's
was
a nice drive. I like
man.
that drive.
you go through the desert, you see mountains, you see ice caps,
Yeah.
then you see solar panels, and then you coming into this valley, and it's just mountainous, and the sun is setting, and
Yeah.
you go through that, and then boom, you hit LA, and then traffic, and
Yeah.
but then you see the mountains of the Hollywood, Rodeo Drive, and the Walk of Fame, and the observatory on. I mean, Cali's dynamic.
Yeah.
Dynamic, yeah. So that was a fun trip. Vegas, we went to Hoover Dam. That's like
I was there. I'm trying to see if I'm gonna go.
one of the 7 wonders in the world, because when you go there, you can walk over to the Arizona side. It's right there, and so the time changes just by going over. But then when you see this dam and how tall it is, and how much water is holding back, but that dam is protected because it's pushing out a lot of electricity for a majority of. It's pushing electricity all the way to California.
Yeah.
So Arizona. So that's a hot spot for a terrorist attack.
Right.
But it's you got to see it in person to really. You're like, how could somebody build something like this? Like,
Right.
How did they do this? And then the backdrop of it is the desert mountains. So it's definitely one of the 7 wonders in the world, like a pyramid.
Check that out. I'll be in Vegas in a few weeks, so I might check that out.
Vegas is fun, man. It's actually it's not just for adults too. Vegas is actually a cool family.
Yeah, it is.
Family.
So you get a lot of people say, "Well, I don't want to go to Vegas because I don't gamble," but it's so much more.
I don't gamble either, but there's so much to do.
Yeah.
First of all, the food, the diversity of food in Vegas. You have because these hotels they hire some great chefs from around the world, and then the shows haven't really been there because of COVID, but they're coming back.
Right.
And now they got a football team. And the stadium is modern, out of this world. But then you got In-N-Out Burger, you got the low end food, and then you got the high
shopping.
Yeah,
But the lights, it's just the MGM, the Mandalay Bay, then
Bellagio.
You got Old Vegas, you got the Strip.
Yeah.
So it's
You got
if
the
you.
desert.
Some people have been to Vegas so many times that they're not really intrigued by it. For me, it was my second time. My sister-in-law lives out there. And
Yeah.
it's a fun trip. Now, in the summertime, it's hot, but it's turn up. I mean, the pool parties are Pool parties are, if you want to party, you can party in Vegas all day and all night long. And in wintertime, prices are, you can fly to Vegas in November from Atlanta with hotel for under $500.
Yep.
I think y'all went one year. Yeah. Yeah. I booked a trip for the fellas here.
Yeah.
And Vegas is diverse and it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the time difference actually makes it kind of cool too. You can leave now, jump on the plane, and get there now. I mean, as far as
Right.
Right.
time, still have to even, but they don't sleep. And then the parties, Dreas Club, and the party buses, and it's a lot to do in Vegas. But you can also ATV ride. They've got a racetrack out there where you can drive supercars. There's places to zip line.
Yeah.
It's a cool getaway, man. If you can. So yeah, domestic travel is on the rise. I guess places like New York City and Chicago, which are big sports cities, the Nets, they got bumped. But a lot of folks were taking advantage and going to New York since they opened up some of the bars and enjoying it. But now Atlanta, Atlanta been open.
Being open. We ain't
Right. Ain't never
being
stop.
But we didn't even say that. Atlanta's
the hub.
a hot spot for, you talk
Right.
about domestic travel on the rise. People
Yeah.
come to Atlanta because we were open. People come here
Party.
to party and shop.
Right. So where's another hot spot? Let's say international.
Oh, well, Dubai's back open. Dubai's like it's bigger than Vegas as far as what you see.
Right.
Like the Palm Island, to go out there and see the palaces. They have palaces, not even castles.
Right.
Palaces. The wealth in Dubai is just
Ridiculous.
it's ridiculous. They built that city. They brought in sand and dirt, and they have this place, the world. They actually you can tell them what country you want your house to be in, but they don't allow foreigners to purchase land in Dubai. You can rent, stay in Dubai, and then Atlantis. Then the Burke Hotel, tallest hotel in the world, and it's just the financial district, the mall. They've got a ski slope in the mall. Then you could go to, the mosques, the temples, the United Emirates. You can go to Abu Dhabi. You can head out to the desert in these 4-wheel drive vehicles, hit these sand mountains, sand dunes, and ride a camel. You have dinner out there. You dress in a traditional Arabic garb, and it's definitely a dope Instagram moment. But Dubai it's affordable. Things are more achievable now for folks, or reachable. You can go to Dubai from Atlanta, connect in France or Amsterdam, stay at a hotel, do 3 tours for under $2,000 per person, $1,500, $1,600. About the same cost it would cost you to go to Jamaica.
How many days?
For 4 nights. 4 to 5 nights, depending on where you stay. Yeah, well, that's the thing. 20 hours to fly over there to stay. It would be ideal to stay there for at least a week. But what? What?
That's that 20 hours for me, brother.
You can fly direct.
You probably need
direct
at least 7
flights cost a
days
lot.
for real.
20 in the air. It's in the air. Too.
No, not 20 in the air.
That's with a layover.
So with a layover, with a 2 to 4 hour layover, which is actually, you need that time to kind of stretch, to be honest. But
So you're still looking at 16 though.
Yeah, most direct flights
In the air.
Yeah, if you fly in direct, 14 to 16 direct. And most of those direct flights are going to come from New York, Washington, D.C., sometimes Miami.
Right.
But if you fly from Atlanta hasn't been a huge direct hub
Right.
for certain places, but you can fly from Atlanta to France direct, or Atlanta to Amsterdam direct on Delta.
Right.
But most people, so you can, if you're going to go that far, I would say if I connect in France, I would try to spend 2 days in France, then get on a plane and go to Dubai. Like I had some clients that went to Dubai, but they also went to the Maldives. But the Maldives was another 6-hour flight from Dubai. And a lot of folks don't realize how big Africa is.
Right.
You could be in Johannesburg.
See, most people wouldn't even equate that as being in Africa.
What? Oh, Dubai?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's North Africa.
Yeah.
The North part of
See,
Africa.
most people just think it's
Nah, they think it's the Middle East, but
Right.
the Middle East is part of Africa.
right.
So, to fly from country to country in Africa, you know, somebody would say, "Yeah, I want to go to Africa and drive the coast." And, do you realize it's going to take you days to drive from
Right.
one? And I guess the map is deceiving.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They've always made Africa look
Small.
like it's the same size of North America or the United States.
Yeah.
Nah, bro.
So nowadays, with the laws here in the States getting more relaxed,
Mhm.
as far as weed, people traveling Cali weed, people going to Denver weed, Amsterdam weed, but you can't do that
Dubai?
in Dubai.
Oh
Can you?
no. Yeah, 2 years. I think it's a 2 year. You had pointed out, which I still can't believe, somebody tested positive for marijuana after going to the doctor and they were arrested. No, Dubai, you can buy
Yeah,
alcohol only at a restaurant or a club. You can't buy alcohol. You can't go to a store and buy.
So it's not like a liquor store. You can just go.
I mean, it's Dubai's one of the more liberal Muslim territories, but you still, you're not supposed to hold hands in public with a female. If you go into certain government buildings or if you're at the mosque, females have to cover their face and knees. So it's a very I guess you would say it's conservative in some ways, but they're strict. They're strict.
Right.
So no. I mean, if you'll
Is that
find
just
you
certain
can find
parts
drugs
of-
anywhere, right? But if you get caught in Dubai,
Right. Well, I'm just saying it for the folks
you
that
ain't
like
coming
to.
home on your flight.
Some people like to smoke so much they risk it all.
I just don't think that's a smart thing
Nah,
to do. And
I don't either.
you ever seen Locked Up Abroad?
I'm just putting it out there for the folks watching.
Yeah, well, I would say that there's drugs everywhere,
Right.
but it's different in Muslim territories.
Right.
But I mean, there's still turn up. The clubs are still lit, and of course, you're gonna find drugs. That's actually what makes drugs over there even more expensive. So you have hard drugs like ecstasy and what's the other one, Xanax and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It's there. Pills are there, but you don't want to be on the
Nah, definitely
receiving
not.
end of being caught in Dubai.
Nah, I ain't trying to do jail
Lose a
time.
hand.
Definitely not in another country.
Nah, you don't want to do that.
When they want to go to jail here.
But I
Nah.
think that's the dope thing about travel is that, to places like that is you see the diversity of the world, but you also see how blessed we are here with, our freedom.
Right.
Freedom of not just religion, but just freedom to move about and do what we want. So, but you brought up a lot of folks are taking these cannabis trips,
Yeah.
to Vegas has dispensaries everywhere. Colorado and other states have followed suit.
California,
So
Michigan.
Amsterdam has always been very liberal on it, but a lot of stoners. Some people, if they booking and I tell them that, hey, probably not gonna find any good cannabis in this area. They're like, well, I don't want to go.
Yeah. Right.
So it's become important to some folks. Just look, we talked about the culinary experience. I call it the cannabis experience.
Yeah. That's why I brought it up.
So what's the hot spots in the Caribbean right now? Besides Cancun, I know everybody's still going to Cancun.
So the reason why, I tell you now, Mexico and Dominican Republic, least path of resistance because you don't have to be tested. So they don't require any testing, COVID testing to come in. So if you remember, people had stopped going to Cancun or Mexico because they were, hearing about cartels and people getting kidnapped, and then people stopped going to Dominican Republic, Punta Cana, because folks were dying from alcohol poisoning.
poisoning.
That was in the news. Well, guess what? They back. Nobody even thinks about that anymore, right? At one point, Jamaica was actually having some issues with so-called violence, but none of these really ever really affected tourists. It's just that the State Department puts these warnings up for us to make sure that we know, going into these countries, they're having these issues, you know. But going to New York or coming to Atlanta is just as dangerous, right?
Mhm.
But Mexico and Dominican Republic became, hotspots like Tulum. That was the buzzword because it's just more available, accessible, direct flights, lesser expensive
It's cheap.
to fly there. Yeah, but now you have Panama has become Panama, Colombia, Medellin, Cartagena. Jamaica's definitely becoming popular again, but Antigua, you has become another popular spot. Saint Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of requests lately for Barbados.
I was about to say Barbados.
Because people want to go places that are less traveled.
Right.
Mhm.
And then folks that travel on a regular basis want to try something new. Turks and Caicos is always on the bucket list for people. The reason why, because of the beautiful turquoise colored water.
Mhm.
It's more of a high end trip. You don't really find a lot of all inclusives in Turks and Caicos. They're more service orientated. But you have other places like St. Kitts and Nevis, um, Dominica. I'm meeting with the Anguilla tourist board, but Anguilla's right there where St. Martin is. Instead of Antigua, a lot of folks like Barbuda, but the hot spots, really are outside of Cancun and Dominican Republic. I would say Jamaica and St. Lucia.
So Jamaica, you have to get tested
Yeah. So
to come in.
the hot spots that you speak about, folks are willing to do tests. So Antigua,
Okay.
it was easier because you just have to be tested within 5 days.
Okay.
But Jamaica, you have to be tested within 72 hours, 3 days, and you have to fill out a travel authorization form. Turks and Caicos is 5 days, and you have to fill out an online form. So, which some people like because it deters other folks, so it's not as crowded as your other destinations.
Yeah.
But the reason why Jamaica is becoming popular again, not just because my family's from Jamaica, but culturally, well, the cannabis experience and the culinary experience, the food experience
Food
in
is
Jamaica.
good in Jamaica.
Yeah, you got a diverse food.
is
You got
good.
people go there because they are interested in the Jamaican libations, the rum, but also the scenery, like the mountains, the rivers, the waterfalls, but then the culture, the music, the history in Jamaica, whether it's Bob Marley, Marcus Garvey, Kamala Harris. Where's
She
she
from
from?
Jamaica?
Yeah.
Her dad
Yeah,
from
her dad is from Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
She used to spend time over there. So, Jamaica out of place. But Jamaica has a couple of different areas too, like Negril versus Mobay versus Ocho Rios. So, over 500, bird watchers go to Jamaica. Fishing is great in Jamaica. Jamaica is it's a paradise,
Yeah.
because it has a good balance of everything compared to a Dominican Republic or
Mm-hmm.
places like that.
What do you know about the pink sands of Bahamas?
Yeah, you got that's in Exuma,
Mm-hmm.
pink sand, and you can swim with the pigs. So I think Bahamas is so close to the United States. Sometimes people overlook it.
Yeah.
And then Nassau. A lot of people go there on cruises, so it's like. But Bahamas has some, especially in like Freeport. There's not a lot to do, and Grand Bahamas there's not a lot to do, but it's beautiful. The beaches are great. But that's what the dope part is too. They have hundreds of little small islands.
Yeah.
So if you like to fish and you love the water, Bahamas is a good spot.
Yeah, the best water I ever seen was off of one of the Bahamas islands.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So where's the turn-up spot in Bahamas?
The what?
Is it a turn-up spot?
Turnip? Yeah, man. Nassau. Nassau
Okay.
is a turnip spot, man, and especially during like the carnival times. They have some really. They have Atlantis is in the Bahamas in Nassau.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, so the casinos there.
Mm-hmm.
So Bahamas has some good nightlife and good food. It's like I guess you would say a offset version of Jamaica in a way, but the island is small, so
Right.
there's not it's not very mountainous. there's not that much else to do. Not a lot of waterfalls and things like that. So um, I think one of the people haven't really explored Hispaniola, the island of Hispaniola, Haiti, and Dominican Republic. Like they've, ran through the Bahamas and Jamaica, but you have some other places, in Dominican Republic that are starting to grow, like Puerto Plata, La Romana, Samana, Santo Domingo, Boca Chica, But when you talk about turn up spot, DR is the turn up spot, and it's a
Right.
sexy place. A lot of folks are going to. We were talking earlier one day, today, about folks going to DR for surgery. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Getting them teeth done, getting them teeth.
teeth, everything. It's a cosmetic. It's a cosmetic.
Charlie Murphy's.
Charlie Murphy is them 50 cents.
There's a lot of eye candy in the Bahamas, and the people go there and they want to be some of the eye candy.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of and again, a lot of festivals, music festivals, and
Yeah.
parties, and the DR
I
experience.
do got a question about these carnivals. So, do you have a schedule when all these carnivals happen?
Yeah, so you have different times a year. You'll have carnival in Jamaica, Trinidad, Bahamas, Antigua, but then you also have times when there's a jazz festival, jazz concert.
That's why I've been wanting to experience the carnivals.
Carnivals are, if you like calypso music and you're used to, dancing in the streets and fete and painting yourself and stuff like that and costumes. Carnival is fun, right? But it's a cultural experience that if you're from other parts of the world, it's intriguing for some, but for some it's a little, street parties can be a little
Too much.
intimidating. A lot of whining and dancing and jumping and kicking
Right.
and yelling and stuff like that. So, but the jazz, like the Soul Fest, you'll have some our music, Kim, Music Soul Child, Anthony Hamilton, Jill Scott. They'll come to these destinations so you can listen to R&B and jazz,
When
on the
that
beach.
normally happen?
Normally in November, April. November is one in Cabo, and April. Normally they have one in April in Aruba, the Soul Fest. So Sand and Soul is another one that Steve Harvey has partnered with. So there's quite a few
Yeah.
different times of the year that you.
So they started back up.
Yeah, Sand and Soul is in Cabo. They have one coming to Cancun again. So those dates I don't know them off the top of my head, but yeah, that's if you're a music lover, that's one of the best times to go. Now you're going to pay more because now you're not just paying for your accommodations and food and flight. You're actually going to be paying for tickets to these shows. But
Right.
yeah, comedy shows, and it's a great time to party with other people like-minded or
Alright.
folks that are interested.
So, do these shows be at a certain resort, or do
Yeah.
they? Okay,
Yeah.
so you got
So,
to book at
yeah.
that resort.
Yeah, you got to. Well, in order to book for these festivals, you book through because they basically book out the hotel. So you book through them, and it'll include your stay as well as access to the concert that's on property. But they'll have different packages, like the VIP package where you'll be up front, and then sometimes they have off-site parties, or they'll have a yacht trip or catamaran ride. So you can buy different levels of the packages. So
Gotcha. So, what is what year are we in? 21. What's up with Link Up 22?
Link Up. So Link Up is my birthday is June 2nd. So every year for the past 7 years, past 5 years strong. The first 2 years was just me and my family.
Right.
But I go to Jamaica every June, first week in June. I normally stay for 2 weeks, but it's an opportunity for me not only to celebrate my birthday, but I link up with people from New York, L.A., Detroit. This year, Dallas, Texas came through, St. Louis, Virginia, Philly. Friends that refer other friends. We meet in Jamaica and we stay at a nice resort, and I get a chance to kind of show off the my my culture. The culture, my parents are from Jamaica, both my mother and father. So I used to spend every summer in Jamaica till I was 13. On my granduncle's orange farm. So I mean, I wasn't I didn't really want to do it. I wanted to be in New York. I wanted to be hooping. I would have been a better basketball player.
Hey, go ahead and talk. Finish that. We wanna go with that.
I would have been a better basketball player if I was
Gotcha.
spending
Need
the
more
summers.
people.
So you said we don't believe you need more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have been all right.
Yeah.
5'7" and still would have been all right.
So you got something in common with Biggie. He was in Jamaica every summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
just like-
that was just summer camp that's a way to send them down
right.
to your folks. And, but now I get to bring folks down and kind of share the food, the culture, and we have a good time. So Link Up 2021 didn't go as well because folks were still. A lot of folks saw me in Jamaica. Was like, you could travel to Jamaica. I was like, yeah. Just had to test before you went in.
So you say 2 weeks, but how long do most of your guests stay?
Normally four nights. Thursday, they come in on Thursday till Monday. Some will come, like we had some guests that came in Monday. They came in and stayed for a whole week, Monday to Monday.
Yeah.
And then normally I'll stay for another week, 4 days to a week to kind of wind down. But some folks will stay with me at another hotel. So we have 2 parts to Link Up in Jamaica. But again, what Link Up is just an opportunity for folks to come, and we've got like over 40 people that are alumni. They've been before, so they're looking forward to seeing each other again. And we take over a small part of the hotel. The hotel allows us to have, like this year we had a all white party. So you arrive on Thursday, we have a meet and greet, cocktail party, get a chance to meet everybody. We give you a swag bag, with a couple of welcoming gifts. Friday, we normally hang out at the pool and at the beach. And then Friday night, this year we didn't do it because Jamaica clubs weren't open, but we normally go out Friday night on the town. We go to Pier 1, one of the popular night spots in Jamaica, kind of like Margaritaville, but it's more locals that hang out there. Then Saturday I normally take folks to Blue Hole. We go to the waterfalls, jump off the falls, take a swim, do some shopping downtown, stop at Scotchy's, get some traditional Jamaican food, head back to the hotel, and then Sunday, hang out at the pool. We do pool shenanigans and Battle of the Sexes. And then Sunday night, we normally have our parting party. This year, we did a white party, and it was nice. We had some folks from Chicago there that were steppers.
Yeah,
So
that was nice.
They were doing the step stuff. So next year, we're looking at having 2 parts. One part at the Ryu Reggae. Because one thing, this hotel, we stayed at Excellence Oyster Bay. They had 6 rooms that could accommodate double beds, 2 beds, 2 queen size beds. So we had some single travelers and we had some bros that wanted to travel together.
Right.
But how women what's the deal with that? Women will stay in the same room with each other. But would you and Joe share a room?
No, absolutely not.
Not?
No. I don't want to share
If y'all was on a guy's trip, you wouldn't share a room with your bro?
Why?
Why pay more? You're gonna end up paying more for a single occupancy.
I pay more.
Okay. Is there a reason why you scared something gonna happen?
Nah, he's scared. He ain't gonna touch you.
You scared something gonna happen?
Nah, he like to do with the door open.
And my shirt off.
And his shirt off.
And my shirt off.
Yeah, you gotta get
I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it. Ooh, that's a good reason though. That's a good reason. But yeah, we so it was a little bit more it was not couple oriented, it's just that couples had a better time because everything kind of shut down at 11, 12.
So next year, for those who want to come kick it with Junior,
First part, you come to Ryu Reggae, that place is turned up.
What's about the average you expect to spend for it?
For a room, right at $800 per person.
Okay.
Flight and room, all that.
No, that's just for room. With flight, flights. So that's one thing. Supply and demand. I think it'll change by next year, but
Yeah.
flights have gone up, man.
Right.
Like
Yeah, it has.
first week in June, normally you could fly to Jamaica from Atlanta for 450, 500. It was $800-900 for to fly to Jamaica round trip. Prices, and then it depends on which. Folks from New York were getting better deals than folks from Atlanta. And New
Right.
York is even further.
Right. That's
So it'd be safe to say possibly
Roughly $1,200 to $1,300
Okay.
with airfare per person, which
Right.
is normally what we do. Like
And reuse all inclusive.
Re's all inclusive.
Okay.
It's a little bit more turn up and less luxury.
Mhm.
Although there's 3 reuse, so for folks who do want a little bit more luxury, like a jacuzzi tub in their room, they can stay at the Ryu Palace, which is right next door, and still have access to the Ryu Reggae. They're both adult only, and there's even another more value price Ryu Mobe next to the Ryu Palace. But if you stay at the Ryu Mobe, you don't have access to the Ryu Reggae. So it's going to be folks staying at the Ryu Reggae and the Ryu Palace.
Okay.
And then the following week, we're going to be back at Excellence. People really like Excellence. The room, I had a rooftop suite. Some folks had a beach house. Some folks had a swim out. The food was good. It's a newer resort. It's only 2 years old, Excellence is, but it's more luxury. So some folks might stay for both parts. And then, like, we're going to Cancun Saturday. So normally I do a second part in another country. Every year I change. Like in 2019, we did our second part in Punta Cana.
So you got to link up part 1 and part 2.
Part 2, yeah. So in Jamaica, what I'm going to do is link up part 1 and part 2 in Jamaica, and then I would say part 2 in another. I guess you could call it link up part 3.
So you're doing this 3 times a year.
Well, the one in Jamaica is really one time a year. It's just a split between 2 hotels. So some people are more interested in the turn up, so they'll be at the first half. Some folks are more interested in the luxury, they'll be on the second half.
But it's all over 4 or 5 days.
Well, that's a total of 8 days.
Okay.
So the first half is four nights at the Ryu Reggae. Second half is 4 nights at Excellence Oyster Bay.
Right.
And then we normally do a 7-day trip to another destination. Normally I do it in July. I do
Gotcha.
it after the 4th of July. This year I just decided, because I had some folks that really wanted to go at the end of June.
Right.
New York, DC, a lot of other places, school doesn't get out until the end of June.
Right.
Here in Georgia, we get out, May? Yeah,
May.
end of May. Yeah. So, but I do other trips too, like I do a Thanksgiving cruise every year. I do a couples trip every February after Thanksgiving. And then we're going to Dubai next October 2022. We're going to Ghana, Africa 2022 in December and for Christmas.
Oh, word.
That's what we need to look into.
Yeah.
I was thinking about
How many
link up, but I
days?
might want to go to Africa.
Yeah, Ghana, Africa, you can, it's your choice. I was, just like you were saying, that's a long way to go to stay 4 nights. So we're doing seven nights and 10 nights.
Okay.
So, but
December.
this trip includes everything, 3 different hotels, because you're going to stay in 3 different parts of the Ghana area. Accra, you get a chance to go to the slave castles,
Right.
naming ceremony, craft market, financial district. Some folks are looking for business opportunities. Ghana is really welcoming us
Right.
back. They want
So what's
us.
the ticket on that?
Without airfare, $2,200 a person. Because it
Without
includes,
airfare?
that's for 10 days though, but that includes all your tours
Right.
and everything. So
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. The
It's
airfare probably about 1,200, 1,500.
800,
800?
900.
Oh, that's 3,000.
Delta used to have direct flights. They're going to start them back up. Delta
Okay.
had direct flights to Accra, but now most people are flying to DC. United has a direct flight from DC over to Africa. Yeah, to Ghana. If you took the tours out and this, because people are going over there with me, I want to make sure they have breakfast every morning,
Right.
transportation from the airport. We're staying in nice accommodations, transportation to and from all your tours. We're talking about 8 different tours. That we're
Right.
doing.
That
So
ain't bad.
if you took the tours and everything out, honestly, you can go to Ghana, Africa with airfare and hotel accommodations at one hotel for, 5 to 6 nights for under $2,000.
Yeah.
You know, but on the tours, we want to actually go and have an experience. We want to really find out. You know, I know my parents being from Jamaica, we did a little bit of ancestry tracing. My ancestors are from West Africa, and a lot of us are from West Africa.
How'd you do your trace?
Well, my sister did it, so she did it through Ancestry.com, I believe it was.
Was it the African ancestry?
I'm not sure. I got to double check, but I didn't.
But
really-
anyway, it was West Indies,
yeah. So
especially it.
a lot of the folks in the West Indies, you know, most of them are from West Africa, and you'll see why when you go to Africa, because they talk about how heavy the slave trade was
Right.
in West Africa and not East Africa.
Right.
You know, you don't really find a lot of South Africans that were pulled over here to the United States and the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It was West Africans mostly. So apartheid was a little bit of a different experience, and you can look. That's the dope part about going to Africa. They can look at you, and they can tell that you my brother. You from? No, I'm not from here. Yes, you are. Your ancestors are from here.
Right.
Yeah. So, but you also we found out that we have Spaniard in our family too. So we're not going to deny our European descent.
Oh,
My son, he got Mexican descent.
But even looking at you though, I could tell that you might
he
have
might got Cherokee.
no
in it.
Asian. No,
Asian.
yeah, you
I
might
got
have.
Asian in me, to be honest with you.
Just your Gucci glasses.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I got.
You
supposed
do
to have
you
Asian.
do it, and you'll see. Our height has a lot to do.
I'm gonna do it though.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna
you'll
do
be
it.
surprised when we
You might
little
got-
people.
You might got
we from
Guatemala and you.
That's a why.
You short.
Oh yeah, yeah. We might, but you'd be
No.
surprised, man, at the mixture. My wife does tease me and say my father looks like a little Mayan. My
Yeah.
father's only 5'4",
I seen pictures.
Yeah, you know, Mayans are black though.
and you find that's why we're going. So these type of trips, or like you said, we're talking about travel. It's a big world, man. It's
Yeah.
a big world. We haven't talked about India and
Right.
Thailand and Bali and Russia and
South America,
South America and Chile, and there's so many
Australia,
places.
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
There's so many places
Antarctica.
to visit. Yeah, you know,
Hell
there's so
no.
many. Oh, you think a lot of folks have? They actually have named another ocean.
Yeah.
A lot of folks, man.
People go all over.
I had one gentleman call me yesterday, text me yesterday. He wants to go to South Africa, but he wants to ride. He wants to do it by motorcycle. So you probably white people, right? But you know, some folks are very, I guess you would say, daring,
Right.
right? So you know, and not to stereotype white
Right.
folks, but yeah, white folks will do stuff, you know, that we tend to. I don't want to swim with sharks.
Yeah.
You know, I know a couple of black folks that swim with sharks, but the majority, I know a lot of black folks that scuba dive now.
Yeah.
But the majority of people who scuba dive, jump out of airplanes, you know, and get out of the Jeep on the safari
Right.
are white folks.
Right. Right.
And the reason why is because culturally they're intrigued by culture and they want to participate. But there's so much culture, so many different. I have a cousin who studied Mandarin, different Asian languages, and she went to Tibet, and she said that was like one of the most eye-opening experiences to actually meet monks,
Yeah.
and to see what they do on a daily basis as far as meditation and prayer, and to see these structures. And my mom went to China. She went to the Great Wall of China. China's another. I mean, there's so many places to go. You'll have to just kind of, you know, make a list of. But again, we were talking about it today, having time,
Right.
you know, to do these things. So, you know, I would say over the next 20 years, you know, I'm 51. You know, by the time I'm 70 years old, I want to visit another 20 countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least another 20.
You go to North Korea, Jim.
We need to form. We need to.
That's actually not on my list. But Seoul, South Korea, I have friends that used to.
Since Junior a former rapper, we just need to form a group, and then we just go on tour and hit all these
just go on
places.
tour. And man, you talk about
Then
that.
we can experience it and get paid.
But what's dope, man? My son went to Europe. He went to Austria, Italy, France, and he said, music-wise, man, that's what connects.
Yep.
Right.
They, they not only they love our music, they love our swag.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you visit these places, you see how much, a song will come on. They know the words and you don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I say our culture, but not culture.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation.
Culture vultures.
Not culture vultures.
Mm.
We're just talking about our culture, but not our culture.
Our culture, but not our culture. Yeah.
I feel that we don't have a culture really.
How they take our culture and sell it back to us, and we buy it.
Yeah,
From
they do. They do.
Yeah.
We're innovators. We're creators. But between music, sports too, man. Sports is another.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huge.
all entertainment brings us together. Period.
Right.
So,
Traveling is fun, man. It's just a matter of being able to do it with people that you. We'll talk about that on the next one. Is making sure when you're doing a group trip, make sure when you travel with the right folks.
Oh, without a
figure that
doubt.
out.
You ain't gonna know till you on the trip.
Right.
Well, either you travel
Nah.
with them before, you ask them the right questions.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't know till you travel with them.
Or you ask the right questions.
You could
like
you
what?
could you
You
could
can
have
interview folks.
you could have your
Do you
homies.
snore?
What's some questionnaire what's your
Well, I mean,
question?
in regular conversation, I would pretty much ask if the person's not outgoing, athletic, or doesn't like the outdoors, then Costa Rica is not a good trip for them.
Right.
If the person only likes chicken fingers,
Yeah.
then taking them to Italy and going on a culinary tour and learning how to make pasta and breads might not be for them. So and then some folks I like cultural currency.
Yeah.
I like going to a place and learning more about. So Santo Domingo in Dominican Republic. A lot of people don't. It's in the middle of DR. There's no beach around, but it's a great place to learn about not only the history but of DR, but just the financial districts in these countries when you learn about business and
Yeah.
why a certain country is wealthy, like Brazil, coffee and sugar, or India, sugar and but also technology.
Yeah.
So, but some folks they're not interested in that. So if you're not a history buff or culture buff, certain trips definitely aren't. If someone's not really into history, Athens might not be a good trip for them.
Right.
Got to be well rounded like myself. I'm interested in everything. You feel me, son?
But then some folks just want to turn up.
I like to do all that.
Right.
But there's some places that you go, there's no turn up.
Right.
And then there's some folks that really want to relax.
And that's why you need a travel consultant.
That's why you need a travel consultant. Easy for you to travel. Let me make it easy for you.
And where can they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Easy For You to Travel. That's EZ, like the letter Z, like in zebra. Number 4, letter U, number 2, travel. And on Twitter, Facebook, it's Easy For You to Travel. Or you can email me at easyforyoutotravel@gmail.com. And you can call me after you email me.
Want to give your number up?
No,
Oh.
after you. After you email me.
Yeah. You know what? One last thing, I just thought about it. Since we was talking about before we was joking about weight and all that type of stuff. But say you got a trip coming up, you know it for months or whatever, for whatever reason you ain't accomplished the goals you want to get of how you want to look before the trip. Should you let that deter you from having a good time?
You
Or
shouldn't
should
let it deter you, but however, I will say this: you hit a button. I'm going to Cancun Saturday, and Cancun's gonna get what it's gonna get.
Right.
However, when you're going to tropical places, and it's very beneficial to enjoy your trip, to try to put yourself in a position where you're in good shape or better shape, I should say. because you feel better.
Yeah.
You know, because
Some places, even like telling Aunt, when I just went to Savannah, and we were down on the river street or whatever. You know, it's a lot of what the cobblestones and all that is. It's a lot of walking, and a lot of up and down the steps. And I was thinking to myself, man, you got to be in shape.
yeah, it's not
I
about.
done seen something coming
You-
down that. Ooh, boy.
You got to be in shape to enjoy the trip.
To enjoy, yeah.
Yeah, to
So-
enjoy it, you got to
so
be in shape.
It's one thing not to, to keep your T-shirt on in the pool. It's another thing going to Costa Rica and going to the rainforest and realizing that, it's 2,000 to 2,500 steps.
Right.
2,000, steps just to get somewhere. Or you might be, you put on your step counter, you did 20,000 steps.
Yeah.
To walk through the jungle and walk up, bridges. You're at the base of the volcano.
Yeah. And people don't think about that.
No, a lot of folks don't think about
They
it.
think about, I want to go see XYZ.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Great Wall of China, not thinking you got to walk.
Or you get on a horse and he mad. You want to go horseback ride and the horse is like,
Get him off.
like the camels. I see people on the camels
the
sometimes.
camel throw you off.
Yeah.
But you also have some resorts have really nice gyms, or people are trying their best to stay active. Now I've been on a cruise before, man, where it's captain's night and I go to put on my shirt and I'm like,
Oh man.
yeah, you done swole up, because that's eat all you can eat, all you can drink doesn't mean that you should do it.
Right.
Because between the sodium, sugar, you gotta stay hydrated,
Yeah.
drink water. Because
Especially a
you
lot
don't
of people do a lot of drinking.
Oh, you can end up with kidney stones on a trip. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Or you can end up sick. Constipated
Yeah.
or diarrhea.
Right.
From dehydration. So it's important for you to think about your health. You're right, before you go on the trip, as well as with things like COVID and other things. You want your immune system to be at its height.
Right.
Before you go on a trip. So yeah, I think planning for a trip is not just about money and what you're gonna wear, but how you're gonna feel on this trip. What are you gonna do? So that's a good point. Something that I never really talk to my clients about.
Right.
I think I'm just gonna start throwing that in there. Like, yeah, you got a trip in 8 months. Get out there, start going to the gym a couple of times a week.
Right.
So when you get on this trip, you can
Enjoy it.
maximize it.
Right.
So.
But at the end of the day, let them tatas hang and enjoy yourself.
Hey, well, if they're gonna get what they get,
Yeah.
They
don't
gonna
make
get
that,
what they get.
don't make that stop you.
Right.
But you made an excellent point, because sometimes you're on a trip and you're like, dang, man. You see the pictures, you're like, I'm not posting that. Nah, that angle ain't good, or you trying to take that selfie.
Right. You can
Something
always
cheeks
pop it.
in.
Trying to stick your neck out.
Yeah.
Make it longer.
You need a filter. Get that filter on there.
Looking like you constipated. Hurry up, take the pic. I can't hold my breath. That's a good point. It's funny as it seems, man. Yes, sir.
All right.
All right.
Junior, Anderson, easy for you to travel.
Appreciate it, brother.
Look for his shirtless pic on IG.
Yeah.
With the tatas out.
Yeah.
Yeah, follow me on IG. I do a lot of live broadcasts on IG and on Facebook, so you can see what the resorts look like, what the atmosphere is like, the decor is like, and before you make your decision on the trip, it makes things a lot easier.
Appreciate you, brother.
He do answer his DMs.
I do answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every blue moon.
Yeah. Be prepared though. Ain't no quick questions. He gonna give you more information than what you.
He can be on the phone with you for 2 hours.
Right.
Mhm.
I'm
I'm
a
gonna
fan.
ask you a quick question. You're like, hey.
It's midnight. But this is We the Blueprint. I'm Ant.
I'm Joel.
We out. Deuces.